Hey guys, Sam here, Wealth with Rentals. Hope everyone is doing great and having a great weekend. Um, I'm here at the house and I wanted to give you an update on the plumbing project that we have. And there's a lot of progress here, and I'm really, I would say I'm really glad, I'm really happy, and I'm really blessed to find a plumber to start the project. I I had let's say I'm very happy with that because he was willing to get the permit started before he gets the payment, and I have issues with the previous plumber, and I will tell you what exactly happened, and then I'll walk you through the house and walk you through the plumbing that we have done. But previous plumber, he wanted 30% before we start everything, we start anything. So he wanted 30% upfront without any work and without even pulling the permit. And the issue with that is, like, I was asking, like, can you pull the permit first before I pay you that 30%? And he said no. And I said, he seems like he knows what he's doing, but I wanted one more verification. So I asked him, I called him one day and I said, can I come to, I know you're working in Houston. You mentioned you're working in a couple of places. Can I stop by and pay you that 30%? And I was willing to. I was gonna pay him by Zelle, or I had, I was gonna pull the money from bank and go and pay him. But all I asked him is, can I can I stop by where you're working and pay you there? And I said, you don't have to go anywhere. I can stop by wherever you are working there, and I can just pay you the 30% up front, and you can start the permit and start buying the material and start the work. And he said, meet me at this restaurant. And he sent me an address, and I said, I don't want you to drive I know you're busy, so I can just stop by. And I wanted to go to where he's working and just to see what he's doing, see what he's working on, and just to give me a peace of mind that he's actually working somewhere else, because I'm paying him 30% without him starting anything. So, and that was like, I just wanted a piece of, something to show me something, before I pay him this money, which was about $2,100 or $22,000. And so, and I waited and no response. And then, because we talked about maybe meeting at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and then he called me like at 2 p.m. He said, hey, Sam, are you here? I said, where? He said, at the restaurant where I sent you the address. I said, no, I'm not there. And he said, and I told him, I wanted to meet you at your job site and pay you there. So, but you didn't send me any information or any addresses. So I did not drive there, because I might drive there to 45 minutes, so to that restaurant or to any job site in Houston area. So I said, I did not go. He said, yeah, it's not possible. I said, why it's not possible? Why it's not possible? And he said, no, this is disrespectful, because people are living there. And I said, I'm sorry. I know you're working on a couple of houses. Do you know one vacant? I know you mentioned also that you work on new build, and I can just stop by any new build house or any vacant property. And even, I'm just gonna. He said, no, I cannot let you inside. This is very disrespectful. And I said, what is disrespectful about it? All I need is to, just take a peek, take a look at what you're doing, and see the work you're doing. And I said, I don't even have to go inside. I just want to maybe take a look from the outside, or what you're doing is, if it's a vacant property or a new build, I just want to take a look, see what you're doing. He said, no, this is disrespectful to my customers. And he kept saying disrespectful about me just seeing the house or seeing what he's watching. And I said, you know what, that's fine. I'm trying to work with you, but I'm just trying to see what you're doing, and that's all I wanted to see. And I said, well, that's fine. If not, I would like you to pull a permit, and then I pay you the 30% up front. He said, no, 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 I'm not starting anything until you pay me 30% or to begin with up front. And I said, I'm trying to work with you, but, I'm trying to see it. He said, no, know what? I'm not gonna work with you. Maybe not. You're not gonna. It seems like um, it's not you don't trust me, or you don't believe what I'm saying. And I said, first time we work together, so I'm trying to, find something. I'm willing to pay you. I already withdrew the money. So I just want to see your job site. If you're working, when you're working there, I just want to take a look. That's all. He said, no, I can't do that. This is this and that. And then he, you know, he said, you know what? He said, find another plumber. I cannot work with you. I said, that's fine. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And then he, hung up. And so it was such a scenario. Like I cannot. He didn't pull a permit, and he didn't allow me even to see any of his job sites. And he wanted $2,000 up front. And like, so what I did when I contacted one of my realtors, and I talked to her, and she said, you know what, I have a plumber that does emergency plumbing issues for me. He fixes stuff. I know he went to a couple houses. I said, please send me his contact. I called him, talked to him. He seems a very nice guy, but he's not a licensed plumber. So I said, well, do you know, and I'd like to work with you, but do you know someone who's licensed? He said, yes, I do. I send you my friend. He's licensed. He can pull a permit because I need a permit. He said he's licensed and he can pull a permit for you. I said, great, excellent, thank you. Please send me his information. So he sent me their information. I talked to his friend and I told him about the project. I gave him the address. He came and looked at it. I told him exactly what he needs to be done, and I asked him, we talked about it. He sent me some information or some quote. I asked him about, if he can send me his like license and insurance. He said no, but I can, once I pull a permit, you would know that I have all this information. I said that's fine. You don't have to send it to me if you pull a permit. So the negotiation was like this. He wanted 50% upfront, but what I want him to do is, and he said, this is the way I work. I always get 50% for the permit and material. And I said, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Can you pull a permit before that? He said, yes. Let me talk to my master plumber, and I'll do that. Within 3 days, he sent me asking for some information about the house, about me, my email, and all that. And he wanted the building permit number as well, so he can attach it to that building permit. Within 3 days, he was registered. He pulled the permit. He sent me the permit. I said, great. Let us now, because you went there by yourself, let us meet at the house just to work through the house, make sure everything is right, and then I will make the payment. So I'll pay you. When we meet you, I'll pay you. So we went and met that evening at the house right here, and we worked through everything. We talked about all the details, and everything was great. So were both on the same page. I made a Zelle payment for him. He sent me his Zelle. I just needed more information. He sent me his Zelle, so that's great. I want something by Zelle. I didn't want cash. It's much better for me because I have a reference. I have something that I showed that I paid him. If I pay him cash, there's no tracking on the cash. But if you pay by Zelle or Venmo or any of that, you can track the payment. Something happens, you have proof that you paid this guy. Now, I also talked to the city and I said, do you have his license? Do you have his insurance? Is he okay? Does he look good? And they said yes. And after he pulled the permit, I verified with the city that he pulled the permit. So, and that they have his license and insurance, and that they have, looked him up. There's no issues around him from the state. So all that was great. So I felt comfortable. I met him. When I met him, I already checked with the city before I met him. When I met him, I made the payment right away by Zelle. So I paid him his 50%, and that was fine. He said, that was Friday. He said, on Monday, I'm going to buy the material. On Tuesday, I'm going to start. So, and that's exactly what he did. So I'm very blessed, very, very blessed to find him. I hope everything will go well. So far, it's going good. He was working today. He worked for the last 3 days at the house. So I hope I hope he is a blessing to me. I hope he is someone who I can rely on. And it seems like so far he's working. But I'm very pleased because I already talked to few plumbers and their pricing was above the roof. And he was decent, similar to the other quote, and not didn't quote me for a very high price, and he was legit. So far he pulled the permit, so that's great. Next video, I'm gonna show you the plumbing, all the plumbing that was done. I explain what we're doing at the house. So this is gonna be this in the next video. So please go to that one, and I'm gonna share with you what exactly happened in the house. So thank you very much. To the next video. Bye bye.